Good afternoon, ma'am. I gave my Qatar Airways interview in Mumbai on 26th of January. My time slot was 8 a.m. in the morning. I reached there at 7:30. We had to enter the location with our fully vaccinated certificate and invitation. They were cross-checking all of that. Once that was done, they made us sit outside in a sitting area. There were around 80 to 85 candidates, and we were waiting until 8:30. And at 8:30, they called us inside. There were two recruiters, both of them were females. The first recruiter came to us. She introduced herself and she told us that they called us in at 8:30 because they want all the candidates to get a fair chance. And then she told us that today there will be the assessment day. These will be the rounds that will be conducted, and now they will be calling our names, and we have to come stand in a line. They will give us a piece of paper which will have our names and a number written. That number will be our identity throughout the day. Then they started calling our names. We had to go stand there. The moment my name was called in, I went. I stood in the line. When my chance came, I said, "Good morning, ma'am. How are you?" And they greeted me back. They wrote my name and they gave me a number. I went back, sat on my place, and they asked us to write our applicant IDs on that paper. Once we were allotted numbers, another recruiter stood up and she told us that she is from India, Mumbai, so she had really high expectations from us. She made us feel very comfortable. She was talking to us in Hindi as well. So we all got very comfortable at that point of time, after which she started talking about Qatar Airways, about the FIFA World Cup 2022, and she showed us a presentation. Initially, she was moving on to all the slides and explaining everything that was written in the slide about the Qatar Airways rules, what are the different positions for a cabin crew, what benefits you have for your family, salary, expectations, welcome bonus, everything about Doha. All of that was mentioned, after which we were shown a mini 5 to 10 minutes, I'm not sure about the time, clip, everything about Qatar Airways. It gave us goosebumps. It was amazing. After which they told us that we will have our English test. During the English test, we were given 30 minutes of time and we had 25 questions. We had to color a few boxes. There were MCQs with 4 options, A, B, C and D. The first part of the paper had 5 questions, and it was a comprehension about Qatar. We had to answer those 5 questions. The second comprehension was something related to bears. I don't clearly remember this, but again, we had to just answer basic grammar questions as to which word fits in appropriately in the given particular sentence. And the third part was a conversation between a cabin crew and a passenger. Over there as well, we had to just fit in a few answers like an aisle seat. Everything was just grammar related, purely grammar. So the Qatar part had 5 questions. The rest 2 sections had 10 and 10 questions, which includes all of it to 25 questions for 30 minutes. After the English test, we had to wait for around 20 to 25 minutes. We were called back in and she announced a few numbers who had to stay back and the rest had to leave. After that, we had our 212 centimeter mark and scar check, where she clearly told us that you should be able to reach the 212 centimeter elegantly. The first 3 fingers of your hands should be able to go above 212 and elegantly, because you should be able to help the passengers with ease, and also when it comes to emergency situations, you should be able to get the equipments out hassle free. So then I was called in the other room. I entered the room. I greeted them. I touched the 212 centimeter mark. Once I was done with that, she called me in. She made me sit. She asked me to sit down, and they asked me, "What do you do, khwaish?" So I told them what I was doing as of now. Then they asked me if I had to declare any scars. I declared 1 birthmark, 1 beauty spot, and 2 scars. They asked me as to how did I get those scars, and then I was done. I went out in the other room. Once all the candidates were done, they came back. They announced a few numbers who had to stay back. Everyone who had stayed back, they distributed us with 3 forms. One of them was the scar declaration form, which we had to fill then and there and submit it to them. They explained us as to how we have to fill all the forms. The rest 2 forms we had to take back home, and they called us on 28th of January for our personal interview again. On 28th of January, we all were given 15-minute time slots each. I went 15 minutes prior to my time slot. They first checked all the documents that we had submitted. We had to go in with 2 documents that we were given, basically 2 forms and three documents required with them. That was our passport, our vaccination certificate, and our highest education certificate with one copy of your passport size photo. I entered the room, I greeted them, I submitted my documents. After that, they asked me again to talk about my scars. How did I get it? Where were they exactly? And on the second day, that is 28th of January, on the personal interview day, they asked us to not wear stockings because they wanted to know about the scars which we had on our legs. Once that was done, they asked me a list of questions which I've already shared with you. It was around 15 to 20 minutes and 8 to 10 questions. She had a list of questions written and she was asking from that itself, and we were given time and she was very quick with the questions. So we had to be very attentive as to listening to the questions, because even though one of them was an Indian, she had an accent. So we had to be very attentive with the questions. Once that was done, I was just told thank you, leave. And then on the other day, at around 3 p.m. in the morning, I received the mail to upload my pictures and the further documents. Haven't received any further messages after that, so awaiting another email. That's all as of now. Thank you, ma'am.